Perfect. Salute, and welcome. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back over here to the Black Ocean. You're now swimming in the deep end with your host, the one and only Great Black Shark. And yes, sir, you all knew that I was going to have my say on this ridiculous fiasco, political distraction, and farce that I call the double J effect. The two Justins, Justin Jones and Justin Pearson. See, family? As you saw by the thumbnail and at the image that you're looking at on your screen here, when you see Kamala Harris, okay, that low-life, degenerate maggot that she is, that hops in and out of pretending to be black. 1 minute you're Asian, 1 minute you're Indian, then you're black. It's just all over the place with her, a bunch of deception. In fact, I say to you this, if you wish to label her anything, she should be labeled the face of deception when it comes to the Democratic Party, right alongside Jim Crow Joe Biden. Let me go ahead and warn you all from the outset of this broadcast that it will not be polite. It will not be politically correct, because when it comes to the present and the future of my people, especially young black children, I will not mince words. This is too important for us to sugarcoat things. Tonight, what you're going to get over here, you're going to get a comprehensive examination of who these two goofballs are, why they were sent, how they were created, and I'm going to remind you of why it's so important that we do not take these types of things lightly. Oh yes, we got a loaded program here tonight. So I'm just letting you know what you're going to see over here. It is probably going to be repeated by many other people. That's fine, because everybody needs to sound the alarm on this. There have been other people to touch on it already, but this is going to be a thorough deep dive tonight. If you're a young black person tuning over here to this broadcast tonight, you're going to learn a bit about history. I will give this in advance. There will be a trigger warning, because there are things that are difficult to talk about in our history, but history is there to teach lessons. And I find that what I'm going to show you here tonight is going to be germane and relevant to everything that we're talking about, because somebody has to do this, okay? So we're going to do it the right way tonight. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and greet everyone that I see joining us over here. Let me look over here to the chat room. Let's see. I see Reef the Watcher over here. What's going on, brother Charlie Shaw? I hope you're a brother. Forgive me if you're not. I see my first sergeant, some chick named Star over here, only Pamela's way. Welcome to you, sister. I will be greeting everyone else that joins us as they come in. I know a lot of you probably were wondering if I was going to touch on this, but I have to do it, okay? So if you're over here tonight, it's time to get an education. I'm going to open this broadcast with something that I want you all to pay very close attention to, because, see, by the time this is over, this will be one that you can use to teach other people why this is no laughing matter. and why us being on code as foundational Black Americans is no laughing matter, and why they fear us being on code. And before we get started, let me go ahead and salute our brother Tariq Nasheed, our brother Jason Black, Professor Black Truth, Philip Scott, brother Torian Rain, any and everybody that has been towing the line for a number of years to try to make sure our people have comprehensive information so we know how to fight back on the ground with the grassroots. We're going to change a lot during our lifetime. It's not hope. It's not might. We are going to change it because, see, one of the number one rules we have, no matter where you come from, that old day that was the rule of the day where a political party hands us our leaders and we don't know a damn thing about them, that shit is finished on both sides. I don't care whether it's Democrats or Republicans. If the grassroots don't know who you are, if we did not choose you, you will not speak for us, you will not represent us. We're going to put an end to that right now. They keep trying the same old play, but we're going to break that down here tonight and see by the end of this, even if you're a Biden sexual, you're going to be forced to change your mind by the end of the night's broadcast. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let us get started.
As well as conservatism and the problems of technology in America that's also going to make us push us in the underclass, is to teach you how to compete. We got to understand we got these problems, but you got to understand where the problems came from. And I want to give you a real fast education today, because the real clue to liberation is not only education, it's re-education. And that's what we're going to talk about this morning. I'm going to show you how we got into our dilemma and how we must get out of it. Nothing has happened to black folk by accident. Everything that's happened to you has been systematically programmed through what I call social engineering. You are a victim of historical social engineering. Now let's go back and start dealing with some of these issues. And a lot of this would you also find covered in my book, Black Labor, White Wealth, and the other two books I got coming out this year. One is called Dirty Little Secrets, and the big one is called Powernomics. How do you do it? And Powernomics, if you want to know what Powernomics is, because I'm going to talk about it a little later, Powernomics is teaching my people a new way of seeing, thinking, and behaving. And that's what the whole thing will be about this morning. You got to change the way you're seeing and thinking and behaving. Why? Because I said we've been locked into an underclass structure, because we got two major problems in America. One problem is that maldistribution of wealth and resources that I told you about that's in South Africa and America, where whites own and control everything. That's your number one problem. The second problem we're going to talk about this morning is the inappropriate behavior pattern of black folk. Those are the only two problems you have. I don't care what anybody else talks about in America. It's not worthwhile wasting your time. The problem in America is not drug abuse, crime, low-income housing, public housing, food stamps, welfare, teenage pregnancy. Those are symptoms of a problem.
Now, I let that play for a reason, because, see, that's going to set the tone of getting our minds right here when it comes to this political farce of Justin Jones and Justin Pearson. Oh, yes, I want to make you angry here tonight, because there's a such thing as being intelligently angry. And I'm going to make you intelligently angry here tonight. You heard our esteemed Grandmaster teacher, Dr. Claude Anderson, speak on historic social engineering, okay? So what I'm going to show you next, and those of us who are older have seen this movie. If you're a younger black person, you might not have seen this movie, but trust me, this is going to give you some context on why things the way they are with politics. The name of the movie is Trick Baby. This is an important scene from this movie, and I had to include it in here tonight because, trust me, by the time we finish threading all of these needles, it's going to make perfect sense. I want you all to get ready to absorb this. I'm going to let this play.
It's you liberals who have lifted them up, Howard.
Paul, you conservatives make a mistake. You can't afford to strangle hope in people. Without hope, people become dangerous.
No, Howard, you liberals have let them invade our society. You give them jobs, political jobs.
Paul, you missed the point. It's only the smart ones we move up.
That makes it even worse.
Oh, we have to move them up. If we leave a smart one in the ghetto, he might develop into a leader against us. But if we raise him up into white society, we neutralize him. He feels compelled to try to act like us. He loses his identity and his racial anger, if he has any. He becomes alien to his brothers. They realize he sold them out and they grow to hate him. He becomes worthless to them and safe for us. No, thank you. In fact, in his love for the creature comforts, except for his color, he's become one of us.
Now that you've seen that scene, you heard what they were talking about at that dinner table. Now, a lot of you that just witnessed that probably said, well, GBS, that's just a movie, man. It's just Hollywood and entertainment. Let me tell you something right now. If you're a young black person that thinks that way, a lot of the dominant society puts messages in their movies and entertainment. You see, to us, it might appear to be just entertainment, but understand one thing about social engineering, because I want you all to understand this lesson we're going to be teaching here tonight. The thing about social engineering is, when it comes to racism and white supremacy, these people will speak in coded messages right in front of our faces. Unless you understand what you're looking at and who they're talking to, you will miss the message. We've seen that here lately. But a lot of people that are trying to downplay that white supremacist piece of garbage, just pearly things, okay? So when you saw that scene at that dinner table, if you were a black person taking that as entertainment, you have been highly mistaken, okay? They were talking to the greater majority of white American society about how to handle black people, okay? This is where you get your coon class from. You understand what I'm telling you? Oh, yeah, I told y'all, we finna learn a great deal here tonight. And before we go any further, I'm going to show you something, right? I want to put this on your mind because we got to make this stick the right way over here. Keep in mind that scene that you just saw, and I'm going to play something for you. And shout out to the brother Tariq Nasheed, because this is where I first saw this. You're going to see how this fits right in to what that movie was telling us right there. I'm going to let this play.
Justin J. Pearson, and I'm running for president of BSG. There are a few reasons that we're running this campaign this year. One has to do with representation. How can we represent all voices in a conversation? I wanted to do this by partnering with organizations from the Bowdoin Democrats to the Bowdoin Republicans. I want to bring together different voices, dissenting voices, voices that may be more liberal or more conservative, in order that we can reach a point of sort of the radical middle.
Seemed like the NRA and gun lobbyists might win. But oh, that was good news for us. I don't know how long this Saturday in the state of Tennessee might last. But oh, we have good news, folks. We've got good news that Sunday always comes.
Now, you saw that, right? You saw that. That was what Justin Pearson here used to look like before they put that manufactured fro on him, okay? Or as I'm going to call him, Carlton Luther King. That's what I'm going to call him. Carlton Luther King there. That's what he used to look like before they manufactured him and put that fro on him. See, they groomed these little weasels that come out of nowhere that we don't know a damn thing about, just like Barack Obama, okay? Think about this too. I'm going to throw this in here because I want y'all to see how they manufacture these people. We're going to prove that by the end of the night here. Remember during the Cosby trial, okay? Now, Bill Cosby isn't the issue. Think back to how you remember that crazy accuser jumped out the bush and she had that wild afro going everywhere. And then when they were in the courtroom, they had those women put those afros out there like that. See, they do that for a reason, okay? They do that for a reason because, see, the thing about it today, we are blessed to be in an age where we've got history on our side to study. They don't have any new tricks. See, this is why a lot of us in new black media and on the grassroots get angry when we see so many of our people falling for the same things over and over. It's sloppy and it's ham-handed. The way white society sees black people and how they think they're able to manipulate us, it is not genuine. It's not organic, okay? So now you saw how that boy was looking, and I'm going to call him a boy because you don't have my respect as a man when you attempt to cosplay as our people and you don't represent the agenda of our people. I have no respect for any politician that does that, male, female, Republican, Democrat. It does not matter. And we're going to prove why that's no laughing matter here tonight. So now keep in mind what you just saw with that scene, Trick Baby there, okay? That scene shows you how, and he's a Democrat, okay? We're going to point the blame where it belongs. They will bring them in and cultivate and groom them, okay? So they give them their talking points. They even give them their look. I'm telling you right now, What I'm about to play for you, while I'm doing that, I want you to look at his attire. I want you to play and listen to his demeanor. And I want you to listen to the excellent job that our sister Teslyn Figaro, shout out to that sister. She is a great asset to our people. I have a high amount of respect for that sister. I want you to watch this excellent job she did breaking this food down on the Breakfast Club. Let's let this play.
Tell me about your Black policy. That's important to me because you do represent 60% Black. So you have a majority Black district. So although, I appreciate the, for everybody and, I know Representative Jones was singing. I saw him singing "We Shall Overcome" with the white folks, but I didn't like that. I'm just gonna tell you, I didn't like that. But so I get the about everybody, and one of the things that Charlamagne and I we talk about this all the time. It was not too long ago we were talking, and Charlamagne was like, "How can how can people represent a Black district?" And one of the things that I'm saying is, well, it's these smaller seats that literally represent majority Black. So you can actually talk about Black stuff without, and I understand the everybody and. The holding hands and the kumbaya. Yeah. But I really need something that I can take back with me to the Twitter world. Yeah. Tell me about your Black policy. Not about everybody and help everybody. You represent 60% Black. Tell me how your gun reform or whatever policy you're working on. Do you support reparations? Some people said you didn't, and then others said you did. Like, give us a quick rundown specifically on Black people that you represent in your district.
Yeah, I am 100% pro-Black, and here's the reality that we got to talk about. When you do for Black folk, everybody does benefit.
Yeah, we know, but right? I'm gonna ask you about the Black policy.
So I am. I got you.
Want to know about your policy?
My policies. Exactly.
What's
when you think about reparations, I'm 100% for reparations. I have been for a very long time. For cash, for credit, for check, for credit card, for trust fund. And I was on Bev Johnson, another member of the iHeartRadio community, in January, and I explained the reason why I'm for reparations isn't just because of the enslavement of Black people, because there are some people who say, well, you weren't enslaved, and then we have to walk through housing segregation, we got to walk through lynching, we got to walk through mass incarceration, which we're experiencing now. What about reparations for all of these harms that we have experienced all the way up into the present day?
Are you willing to put it on your website, though? Because it's not under your website on issues.
Yeah.
Are you willing?
Bam! She got him right there. See, let me tell y'all something, man. Over the years, I've heard a lot of people make criticisms of the good sister Teslyn Figaro. You know where I stand on things. You're not going to always agree with everything that somebody says, but let me tell you something. That sister is sharp. She knows her history. She knows her profession. She is an excellent communicator, okay? And she's been doing this for well over, I think, 20-something years in the political sphere? So what she's doing, she's grilling him and using the truth. And she's not allowing him to filibuster like politicians of both parties will do and dodge the conversation. And there's one thing I want to put on your minds right here, family. You know me, I like to make it plain and make it simple to my audience over here. If somebody is pro-Black, and I want you to never forget this as long as you live, especially if you're a young Black person over here listening to me tonight. If somebody is pro-Black, Black first or whatever, they don't have to tell you that. I want you to be clear on this. When you hear people keep running around talking about, I'm pro-Black. See, let me give it to you this way. Think about online when you see people coming into the comment sections, and I'm finna put the white supremacists on blast because I know many of you already know this. My audience is very intelligent, and they come and comment, I'm a Black person, and I don't think we should get reparations. You know that's a white person. Well, here's the Black coon version of it, okay? A person that's running around talking about I'm pro-Black all the time, you don't need to say that if that's what you are. It's going to be evident in your actions, okay? I want you to keep that in mind about politician, content creator, whoever. You don't have to keep saying I'm pro-Black, I'm pro-Black. No, we be able to see that in your track record, in your actions, and what you about and what you stand for in the grassroots, okay? So that's the first thing that lets you know that he's been coached and groomed by his Democratic white handlers, okay? I'm going to tell you something right now. I told you on this channel I was going to be putting before you more sisters that are upstanding, that I think should be looked up to and respected and acknowledged for their work in the community, and particularly the ones that I think young sisters who are intelligent should pattern themselves after, okay? I want you to watch how Teslyn surgically dissects his narrow, deceitful, Democratic shield ass. Let's let it continue.
Okay.
I'm willing to do that. It is not the issue that people in District 86 are saying is number one for them. Because to the point that was made earlier, they're definitely concerned about safety. They're concerned about crime. A lot of my population is also elderly. And so you'll see on the website, aging justice. There's not enough money in Social Security to actually help elders live out the rest of their lives in a meaningful way. So policies that we're putting forward have to do with people being able to grow old well, which not only include financial increases in money, but creating opportunities for them to gather and to have community. I live in the most polluted, one of the most polluted districts in the state. And so, God rest their souls, both my grandmothers have died of cancer, my grandmother Pearson, grandmother Gwen, and it was due to environmental racism, which
Let me stop him right there, okay? Because, see, I want to make sure that my audience understands what you're looking at when these jokers have been groomed by political handlers, okay? And the NSA, too. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. That's a broadcast for another day, but we're going to make a lot of that stick here tonight. Understand that when politicians are talking to every other group, because I want you all to get how important and how disrespectful what he's doing is, because, see, a lot of black people would miss this because we're compassionate people. When these same types of politicians, Kamala Harris, all the rest of them that you see, go talk to Asians, go talk to East Indians, Arabs, Hispanic people, damn sure when they talk to white people, notice they don't make a big deal about personal anecdotes and try to play on that crowd's heartstrings about some personal issue in their family. Understand that politics is a business transaction. You keep your personal shit out of these business affairs. We don't need to know what happened to your grandmother or whoever. No, I'm not going to punch down at that, but that is not the time or place to do that. See, let me really make this stick so that my audience understands what I'm saying here. If you're going to do business, let's just say you're going to buy a car, okay? You're going to get whatever your dream car is, all right? You think you've got a good deal on it. You're getting ready to sign the paperwork. Then all of a sudden, you ask a question about something regarding that process. And instead of answering that question, somebody starts talking to you about something personal going on in their family. Now, let me ask the chat room a question. If you ask that question, whatever it is you're trying to find out about the purchase of that vehicle, and they keep deflecting and they start talking about their stuff at home, or what are you going to tell that person? I'm looking at the chat room. I want to see, what are you going to tell that person? If they start bringing up personal things while you trying to conduct business, is that the time and place to do that? What would you say to them? I just want to see. Because, see, we have to make sure that we get black people's minds properly offended when these people disrespect us like that. Because make no mistake, he knows what he's doing. He's trying to give personal anecdotes so black people, particularly the elderly, be like, oh, man, his grandmother had cancer. And this. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's bad. I hate that. Don't wish that on nobody. Right now, this is business. You see what I'm saying? Would anybody in that chat room take kindly to those people sidestepping your question and start talking about personal business if you in that car dealership? I just want to see. I'm looking in the chat. Somebody let me know. I want y'all to make sure that you understand why I'm showing this to you, because, see, they do this a lot. I'm going to give you another politician that tries that a lot, too. How many of you remember the white politician, another Democrat, remember Beto O'Rourke? I know that name should sound familiar to you. Remember the politician in Texas, Beto O'Rourke, okay? He was trying to get Greg Abbott's seat for governor. If you go back and look at footage of Beto O'Rourke, he had a bad habit of getting before a black audience and repeating things that we already know. We don't need nobody to recount the history of what we've been through. We know that. We're at the phase where, okay, it's compensation time. We know what happened. We lived it. We're the descendants of our slave ancestors, okay? We know the history in our families, all right? We see what's going on in present day, that the effects that have been passed on down through Jim Crow. We see everything that has affected us and put us at the socioeconomic bottom as a collective. We have individuals that are doing real well, but that does not represent the collective. So when you have a Beto O'Rourke, a Justin Jones, a Justin Pearson, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, I don't give a damn who it is or what political party they're from. When you are talking to us about our votes, this is business. How dare you bring your personal information into this? You see, this is what I want to condition all of us on the grassroots to understand. Any one of you across this nation who are foundational Black American, especially, not to put up with that. What you do when a politician starts that bullshit with you, you stop them and cut them off and say, listen, I'm sorry for your personal loss or whatever happened to you. Right now, this is business. That's just how cold you have to be with it, because our future is not a joke. You have to train these people that we are not going to be played with. You're not going to talk about, oh, people of color and all this other stuff. And then like the sister Tesla asked them, okay, you say you for reparations. If you're telling me what you're about and you have a website, it should be front and center on your website, and it shouldn't be at the bottom. That should be the first thing. Go ahead and let me know where you stand on that, okay? See, gone are the days of us just supporting you because you Black. And he's sitting up here with this ridiculously kept afro. See, one thing I'm going to show y'all later in this broadcast is how to spot this crap when the government manufactures something and sends at you. We have a recent picture of Barack Obama, one, okay? But I'm going to show you historically how they've done this. It's going to be very easy for you to spot them from here on. Please, I'm going to tell you right now, expect YouTube to probably tamper with this broadcast. Expect them to tamper with it. I'm already expecting it. They might start playing with the stream. I'm just telling you right now, because see, the information that I'm going to bring before you is the type of stuff they don't want you learning, okay? See, they don't like you weaponizing the history and using it to educate people so that you can't stay on that damn hamster wheel they have our people on collectively, okay? Bottom line is this. When it comes to politics, it is a business transaction. I don't want to hear nothing personal. You save that after we get the business squared away. After we get the business squared away, starting with the economics, moving on to producing justice, then if you want to talk personal, we can do all that, all you want to. See, keep in mind, before I let this continue, keep in mind that memo that they sent out to Hillary Clinton and Democratic staff back in 2016 about Black Lives Matter. Now, we don't support the organization Black Lives Matter, but that was code for Black people. Remember, they said, don't promise them anything. Just empathize with them. Nod your head. Don't you ever let any politician approach you with that crap. They go to other groups. They get right down to business. They talk specifics. And see, just because you seeing a Black face that we didn't choose, that's the first mistake. Up to us and try to pull that crap. No, we're not playing that game. See, they know they can run that on the older crowd, and no disrespect to the elders that are on code, but we see what the greater majority of them are in that church crowd. They just go along to get along. They just want somebody to make them feel good. Fuck all that. Don't feel good. Be good. That's our job right here. Let's let it continue.
Unfortunately, hurt Black people and poor people. So both my grandmothers lived in a community, this community I live in now, where there are 17 toxic release inventory facilities that are polluting our air, water, and our soil. And so the Black policy that I have, as you articulated it so well, is finding where there are the injustices in environment and education, dealing with gun violence, and everything that we can do, putting the resources toward them, because it's indeed the majority of my district that's being impacted, but the effects of it continue to be on everybody. And what is important to note here is that for us to seek and to be a part of liberation, and this is really important, the people who do have the resources also have a responsibility. And so when I talk about white people's engagement and involvement, it is not to say I'm just concerned about what they think or what they feel. It's because I believe white people and people of privilege and power have a responsibility of choosing a social location with the people who are being marginalized, because they have our money and our resources, and they have a lot of what they have because of what we do not. And so I prioritize. But
respectfully, Representative Pearson, when they highlight you though as the Black man, see, that's the thing. You know, they keep saying, you know, you did this to a Black guy, you did this to the Black guy. Representative Johnson said, you know, you were expelled because you were Black. So see, we got to be consistent. If we're going to push Black when it's time to say, hey, come rally around us. And I'm on your side. I'm just telling you, being very fair, you know, about how this looks. When we're saying Black, I got a dashiki, I got an afro, I'm Black and Black, blickety Black. And then we get to the policy and say everybody else, it disengages a lot of folks. And so when I look at people's issues on the website, you do mention Black when you talk about criminal justice justice reform. But when I look at the other, policies, you talk about Black with voting rights and criminal justice reform. So I would just like to see, and this is just something, for the toolbox, because I've also seen, brother, you've gotten a lot of accolades from a lot of Black organizations. Shout out to Tammy Sawyer in Memphis. She was defending your honor, with me in a 3-hour Twitter space. So I'm posing these questions to you because I want people to know more about you and what you do for Black people.
I want people to realize
wearing a dashiki and afro.
And I want people to realize in every issue that exists in our society, in our country, Black people's liberation must be prioritized.
That's right.
Right.
It's in every issue. And so forgive me if it doesn't say it in every issue, but any time that we are speaking about justice, that is inherently a Black issue. And it is important as well that it be said. And I understand that.
And I know the brother got to go to. I know he got to.
Now, notice how when she asked him, would you put the issue of reparations on your website? He didn't give a direct answer on that. So I'm showing you, and especially young Black people, why you do not trust anyone that's talking to you this way. This little jackass is running game, okay? He didn't give her a direct answer about that. Then, just like I told you how Beto O'Rourke did, he's stating things that we already know. We know that we need liberation. So if you're a leader as a Black man, especially a foundational Black American man, and you understand that, the next thing that needs to come out your mouth is solution time, okay? See, we got to stop playing with these clowns like this, with this little goofy grin on his face and that afro. You think because your handlers done groomed you, you going to come out here and fool Black people. That Barack Obama era is long gone. That is never coming back. Those of us here on the grassroots and New Black Media, we're going to make damn sure that era dies. You're done with that. You will never send another Barack Obama 2.0 after us. That's it. That's a one-trick pony. You don't get to do it again. Okay? So now I want you to pay attention to how he keeps trying to filibuster. Okay? That's it, just going round and round. Okay, you never get to what you propose to do. You're not telling us about no economic policies or ideas that you have to fix things. You're not even making a commitment to say what you're going to do for Black people. See, let me tell you something, man. And I'm not going to mince words this because I told you I'm not going to be politically correct here tonight. This is something right here that if we had a society the way we really need one, and you came amongst us trying to do this, the men need to handle you, bro. We need to have a conversation with you to the side. Yeah, let's see, because this is treason right here. It's not funny that they picked your little punk ass up here to give you a job and you doing good, running around here with your little fake ass afro. And then when it comes to representing people, you have no tangible solutions. You're not talking business. See, we're going to ingrain that into the younger generation. If the Democrats and any other political party think that they're going to groom another baby boomer off code generation with the youth, you got another thing coming. You know, Generation X ain't going for it. Millennials not going for it. And if we hold the line and stay on code, we're going to make damn sure Generation Z and on don't go for it, okay? Oh, yeah. See, I told y'all, we're going to be thorough on this tonight. Let's let it continue.
I know you're supposed to leave it 11-15.
That's all right. I'm good.
You with your people.
Yeah, somebody's going to pull me and tell me to go. Or Sinead, make sure we don't miss our flight. But the thing is, it has to be a prioritization of Black people within issues. But it's everyone. And the thinking, right, for true liberation is that we have to not only prioritize in policy or even prioritize in what we speak, but it's to help other folks recognize that when you're talking about Black people, it is not to the exclusion of everyone else. And so
but it's also important to recognize you represent a majority Black district. I could understand that argument in a district that, is a little bit more diverse, but you literally represent 60% Black. So I'm not, I'm not trying to challenge you. I just, in love, people need to hear it.
No, I love that. I love that. And
it has to match the policy push has to match the optics, because if the national campaign is about doing this to young Black men, then that policy, needs to reflect young Black men besides in voting rights and criminal justice. That's all I'm saying. I know you're doing the work.
The national.
Now, family, let me go ahead and take the time to point something out, because, again, shout out to our lovely and intelligent sister, Tesla Figaro. She did an excellent job of putting the actual facts before him and trying to get an answer out of that little weasel. Let me tell you something why I say he's committed high treason, okay? And why I'm not going to give him or his little flunky buddy a pass. He's in Tennessee, right? Isn't he in Tennessee? Right. So now, have anybody heard this bastard, and I'm calling him what he is, him or his other little flunky twin, because I'm calling them twins, little manufactured punk-ass bootlicking twins. Have anybody heard either one of them say anything about what happened to the brother Tyree Nichols? Whether you agree or disagree with anything or not, I want you to keep the focus. I'm going to ask the question again. Correct me if I'm wrong. Has anyone in my chat room that's joining us over here live tonight heard that bastard or his little flunky twin, Justin Jones, mention anything about Tyree Nichols? How you going to start talking about the liberation of black people? How you going to start talking about, okay, what needs to be done, policy-wise and all that, and you don't mention that? That happened in your district on your watch. If you going to claim to be blackity black and represent black people, you need to be talking about black justice with black consequences for people that harm us like that, okay? I don't care what color they are. I didn't hear him say nothing about that. You see what I'm saying? See, what I want y'all to learn to do when you're engaging these politicians or they push these little prepackaged canned ham puppets out in front of you, I want you to understand that, hey, wait a minute. Jackass, you didn't say nothing about what's going on in your district right now. See, let me tell you what a person would have done if they was really about their life for our people, if they was really trying to get our attention, trying to get grassroots support. They would have had to stop him from running down so many issues because he would have been too busy explaining, okay, I've got an idea about how to hold these people accountable that did that to brother Tyree Nichols. Here's my plan for reparations. I mean, he should have run out of time giving answers. What he did, it's an old game, and I want you to study both Republicans and Democrats, particularly my young people. I know my older audience already understands what I'm saying here, but I want young black people to study. Go and pull any era of footage, okay? In fact, I've got it on my Patreon. I've got that on this channel. I think I have the documentary feed on here that shows you how politics was going in the early 90s during their campaigns, okay? One technique they use with that filibuster is to run the clock out. See, when they start filibustering, you ask them a question, they dance and dance and dance around it because they know they're not answering your question. The game with the filibuster is beat the clock. I'll keep talking until I run out of TV time. And then I won't have given you an answer. You see what I'm saying? See, you have to make sure that you understand these little tricks. So I'm going to direct your attention to the screen here, family. This is a tweet that I caught by this Aaron Rupar guy. Now, he's a reporter, white dude, as you can see. Notice in his tweet, he says, Justin Pearson is a powerful orator. No. I beg to differ. No, he's not. And we're going to prove that here tonight. Well, we just proved it already, but we're going to keep on. We're going to add to the lesson here. You are not a powerful orator unless your words, pay attention to what I'm saying, unless your words are able to move things tangibly. I'm going to say that one more time. You are not a powerful orator unless your words are able to move things tangibly for whatever constituency that you represent. Let me give you some compare and contrast right here. No matter what you think of the guy. And again, let me go ahead and make this statement on the record for any goofballs that try to catch this and chop up and misconstrue my words. I am neither liberal nor conservative. I am not for Democrat or Republican. I am for black empowerment. Whichever party is going to bring tangibles to my people, that's who I'm for. Now that we've gotten that out the way, compare this bastard and all the rest of them that they try to push out in front of us. This is your leader. When Donald Trump was in office, everything he said he attempted to do, and he got a lot of it done for his core base, which is white conservative America. Why you think they support him in such a fanatical way? Now, the poor white people, they got left hanging, but for the majority of the people that he was representing, the white folks with the money, he got shit done for them. Do you see the difference? So I'm going to tell you something. Here's a question I want you to ask any politician that's blackity black, running around with the little cosplay costume, the little prepackaged NSA cosplay costume, I'm going to call it that. When they run up in your face and they start talking like Justin Pearson here, okay, ask them this question. Justin Pearson, If you claim you want to be a leader for black people and represent our issues, are you prepared to do exactly what Donald Trump did for the white conservative Republican base? Because whether you like him or not, the man was about action. What he said he was going to do, he got it done to the best of his ability. Okay? If they start stuttering and stammering, all you need to tell them is this: you're not fit to lead. You're not fit to lead. If you're not going to say black when you're talking about black people, if you're not going to put your specific issues on your website, don't come over here asking for my vote. My vote is not something that I give you. I'm going to say it again. If you don't work for free, you don't vote for free. When you come ask me for my vote, you earn that. And I've told you many times on this channel, and this is something I'm going to keep pushing. I don't give a damn what color politician it is. Black, white, purple with polka dot stripes. You must come with proof of concept policy. We need to see you with a track record of doing stuff in our community, and you need to offer good faith policy. Hey guys, I know you don't really know me. I'm just getting started. Here's what I want to do, and I need your help to do it. This is my plan to get us reparations. This is my plan to bring businesses here, get us economic capital. This is my plan for young people. I need to hear you talking business, okay? You need to have paperwork in your hand. I don't want to hear your mouth. I need you to pull out some paperwork and let me see where you're trying to get some legislation drafted. I need to see, watch this. I'm going to show you how you get these people when they come to you talking about seeking your votes. We have some very intelligent brothers and sisters in our community, okay? I'm going to show you how you must start making them stutter and stammer. When they start talking like Justin Pearson and they start that filibustering, go ahead and cut them off and say, okay, I can tell that you're not prepared to deal with this because we want tangible legislation. If you're a brother or sister that has experience in that, be like, I will volunteer to help you write the legislation. See, you start seeing where they go ready to put their feet to the pavement then. When you start saying like, okay, all right, you missing that person, you need somebody to help you write legislation, I got you. I know a brother or a sister that we can get that done. In fact, here's something we've been working on. What do you think about this? Now, if they start blowing you off and walking the other direction, you already know what to do. You already know what to do. See, we're going to tighten this up and stop them from playing with us like this. So I'm going to show you something. This goofball right here, and I'm going to call him a goofball. When black people see somebody like this Aaron Rupert here with this tweet, talking about Justin Pearson is a powerful orator, from whose position and point of view? White man. Whether he meant any harm or not, I'm going to show you where I'm serious about this. You don't speak for black people. He may sound like a powerful orator to you because he made you feel some type of way. See, white people like that kind of crap. That's why they cherry pick parts from our good brother and esteemed elder and ancestor, Dr. Martin Luther King's speech. They don't talk about the parts where he was talking about reparations. You know that? All they know is the I Have a Dream speech. See, white man, Aaron Rupert, you can't tell me what's powerful to my people because I'm the determiner of that. We make that assessment, not you. But see, a lot of silly black people going, yeah, he right. He was a powerful orator. Really? I'm going to play something right quick because we finna break this down from the A road to the zero tonight. We're going to make all these lessons stick over here.
National Rifle Association and all of these gun lobbyists continue to be able to have control over our legislation. What's going through my mind right now is we need to fight for democracy in the state of Tennessee, and we need people not only just to vote, but people to show up and speak out so that we can end the gun violence epidemic that's happening in our state. This is wrong, this is unjust, and this is not the way that it has to be. There is a better way for us to live, and we don't have to live this way. But the Republican Party of the state of Tennessee want to keep things the same. If you want to fight to change it, if you want to help to make this place a better place, you have to use your voice, you have to use your power, and yes, sometimes you've got to get expelled.
Sir, sends you back. Are you going to take
I'm coming back because this institution has to change. The injustices that are happening here must change, and I'll continue to fight, and my family will continue to fight to make this the place that it ought to be, and not the place that it is now.
What do you have to say to the people in Memphis who came so far?
To everybody in Memphis and Millington and District 86, I love you, I thank you, and thank you for believing that changing and fighting to change the status quo is the right thing to do. We knew we were going to keep our principles and our values. We knew that we were going to have our ancestors with us. We knew that we were not going to yield to injustice, and we will not yield because there's too much at stake. We see gun violence every single day. We have too many loved ones that we're putting in the ground, and these
Now notice, remember what I taught you about this filibuster, because see, I'm letting this play for a reason. I want to make sure that I give young black people the mental tools that they need to dissect this bullshit when they thrust this in front of them. He's done a lot of talking and said nothing about what solutions he's going to implement. You see this? Note too that all those reporters that are around him, they've been chosen to be right there in front of him. See, see. Let me show you something, family. One of the things that I think we're going to have to start really pointing out is the close relationship that Hollywood, the movie industry, has with the government, if you don't already know that. Do you know how much they work hand in hand to consult each other, how to manufacture certain scenes and certain scenarios? See, this right here, this is basically, you can say this was manufactured on a Hollywood studio set. This man ain't talking about no solutions at all now. I want you to finish listening to the rest of this.
These folks up here treat things like it's business as usual. It is not business as usual. Our lives are at stake, and we're going to fight for our lives just like they're fighting for the NRA.
Sir,
Do this again. If you stand up there at the well with the bullhorn and do that same thing again if need be.
Yes, we will never shirk back from civil disobedience. Civil disobedience is what built this country. Resisting the status quo built the United States of America into the institution that it is, and it's my ancestors' resistance that got me here. And so I will not.
Don't you dare invoke our ancestors, you spineless, mewling maggot, you. Our ancestors gave their lives for our people to be where we are today. This man is a disgrace and an insult to black society. Okay, foundational black American society. Let's be clear. Those of us who are foundational black American, freedmen, he is an insult to us. You sit here playing this game and playing with black people, but you're not trying to promise us. See, let me tell you what else you're looking at right here. Because I told you, I'm going to thread all the needles tonight. This clown is basically another Stacey Abrams. She didn't have a chance in hell of winning. What their thing is to go out here and do performative cosplay in blackness and galvanize the black vote to keep you on the damn hamster wheel. See, at some point, family, and I'm talking to you Biden sexuals, okay? I'm talking to y'all. You got it wrong when we told you over here on the grassroots and new black media to withhold your vote if we're not getting tangibles, okay? Now that you've made that mistake, now you see that you're foolish if you keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. You leverage your vote. It is a business transaction. Why be the people that everybody else, as we've seen with this administration, Jim Crow Joe came in the gate, had that pen smoking, signed executive order after executive order, but yet black people get nothing. Asians leapfrog ahead of us and get a hate crime bill. And then they turn around to go and commit more hate crimes against black people. You helped do that, Biden sexuals. I'm talking to you. So why would you want to enable and aid and abet this clown that has been manufactured and sent out here before us to keep us on that damn political hamster wheel? Now is the time to get off of it. And I'm going to direct your attention to the right-hand side of the screen. Anytime you see a large group of white people supporting someone black that we don't know anything about, we did not choose, and number 3, the media ain't giving him a hard time, you better go back and look at it. And we're going to prove that here tonight, too. Go back and look at when Malcolm X was talking, when he was alive, okay? Go back and look at when Martin Luther King was alive and he was talking, okay? Go back and look at our great leaders in the modern era. And we look at when they were talking to by the media. They was always giving pushback. They was labeled this and that and the third. When you see a squeaky clean black person and the media ain't saying nothing bad about them, you already know you fucked up if you back that horse. So let it continue.
Forget them or forget the struggles of people, especially children who march, children who are beaten by dogs, children who are beaten. If I got to get expelled, I'll take that.
Why do you think that you and Justin Jones were expelled, but Gloria Johnson was not expelled?
You cannot ignore the racial dynamic of what happened today. 2 young black lawmakers get expelled and the one white woman does not. That's a statement in and of itself.
Now you heard that clown make the statement about him and his clown buddy being a black lawmaker. Well, you know what? And see, my Tennessee family can help address this. If we have any people from Tennessee in here, feel free to enlighten the chat room. What laws has he passed to help black people? Have you ever seen this clown in the community? Going door to door, asking black people what they want? Has anybody from his or his clown twin buddy staff come to you and say, hey, look, we trying to get this done for black people? Do you know their names in the community? Do they have a track record of getting things done? See, we have to make that part stick. We have to. Because, see, that Aaron Rupert clown that I just showed you with that tweet, he's a powerful orator. We're going to prove that there's no power in his oration because it's not attached to tangible action. It's not attached to tangible action in his seat that he holds as a so-called lawmaker. It's not attached to tangible action on the grassroots. Who goes there? We don't know you. But I'm going to show you how he's not a powerful orator. We're going to really make that point here tonight. Let's let him continue. He's got more drivel to give us.
Yes, I tell you, it was a sad day on Saturday. All hope seemed to be lost. Representatives were thrown out of the State House. Democracy seemed to be at its end. Seemed like the NRA and gun lobbyists might win. But oh, that was good news for us. I don't know how long this Saturday in the state of Tennessee might last. But oh, we have good news, folks. We've got good news that Sunday always comes. Resurrection is a promise, and it is a prophecy. It's a prophecy that came out of the cotton fields. It's a prophecy that came out of the lynching tree. It's a prophecy that still lives in each and every one of us in order to make the state of Tennessee the place that it ought to be. And so I've still got hope because I know we are still here and we will never quit.
Out of order.
Look at all these mayonnaise people sitting up there cheering for him now. So you see Martin Luther King up here giving that speech. Family and young black people, I want you to make sure that you get this drilled into your head because, see, as foundational black Americans, especially young men and women, you should have a pride in who we are as a people and what our people like Dr. Martin Luther King went through for us to get here. He's not Dr. Martin Luther King. Why do you need to invoke his accent? You know why he's doing that? Because he's catering and dog whistling to that old Negro church Democrat bootlick crowd. That's what he was doing that for. See, they go for stuff like that. That does not resonate with young black people because you got young black people out here that need jobs, okay? You got young black people out here that's being targeted by these race soldiers. They're the main targets of that. They're not going after old black people, okay? They're not even going after the gang members. They're shooting the innocent black people down. What we don't need you cosplaying as a former great black American icon in our beloved and ancestor now, Dr. Martin Luther King. You see, family, this is an old game, and it's high time we stop going for the same old tricks. We got to make sure that our young people have the tools they need to spot this BS and to be mortally offended by it. Because, see, let me posit this to you. If he was to go speak before an Asian crowd, do you think he would be mocking one of their people? Ching chong, speaking like that. Do you think he would be going before a Hispanic crowd? Hey, Holmes, I want to talk to you, Holmes. Do you think he would be doing any of that? Huh? Do you think he would do that? See, go back to when they were pushing that crap on us. No voting, no vucking, okay? To get your booty to the polls, vax that ass up. They keep trying to refer to us with the lowest common denominator of intelligence in black society. They don't do that to any other group. I posit to you that this is no different. We should be mortally offended by this, even when other black people come trying to play on our intelligence. When you got a sea of white people cheering for you, see, let me really make it stick for you. How many people in my chat room think that those same white people would be cheering if this man was talking about reparations? If he wanted to channel Martin Luther King, I tell you why I would have gave him a pass. Since some people might say, well, GBS, you being unreasonable. I tell you why I would have gave him a pass. Do your Martin Luther King accent. Repeat his reparation speech before this same crowd and see if you get that same reaction. Oh, yeah, I'm going there with it. See, we're going to make a hard political penalty for these bootlicking sambos like this clown here that's cosplaying as our people, but you're not doing nothing for us. That ship ain't going to float. I'm here to sink that vessel. Oh, yeah. Let's let it continue.
Out of order.
We're voting on House Resolution 63. All those in favor, vote aye when the
Now here's this other clown. I know y'all didn't think I was gonna leave this goofball out. Oh yeah, this is Justin Jones, the so-called half-black Filipino joker. I want to know where his other parent is from. Where your father from? Because he just saying black, that don't mean nothing. Was he a Jamaican, Haitian, whatever? We need to know. I don't give a damn who gets offended at that, because see, again, if I've seen something recur over and over and it's affecting my people detrimentally, you get these people that wear the uniform of our skin, but they're not on code with us. They don't represent our agenda. I'm going to call that out. That day is done. This tethering on to us. See, this is what we mean when we say the tether glass. For those of you that are listening to this live or recorded that are in, on the continent of Africa, or whether you're a Caribbean person, understand this if you've taken offense to what I said. Imagine foundational black Americans coming down to Jamaica, Haiti, or any continent in all the 54 nations of Africa. We come over there, we look like you, but then the things that are relevant and germane to your people, we stand in the way of that progress. And we worm our way in by playing on certain things that we know are of a culture of importance to you. And just because we look a certain way, then we get in there before the government, we switch on you and undermine everything that you are trying to get accomplished. You would not accept that. Therefore, we're not going to accept that over here as foundational black Americans. We're done playing these games. Emily, I want you to listen to this little maggot right here, because a lot of you have already seen this, but I'm going to let this play for a reason, and I'm going to point some things out.
Let's talk about expulsion. For years, one of your colleagues who was an admitted child molester sat in this chamber. No expulsion. One member sits in this chamber who was found guilty of domestic violence. No expulsion. We had a former speaker sit in this chamber who is now under federal investigation. No expulsion. We have a member still under federal investigation. No expulsion. We had a member pee in another member's chair in this chamber. No expulsion. In fact, they're in leadership, but in the governor's administration. And so once again, what you're saying to us, since you're trying to put us on trial, I'll say what you're really putting on trial is the state of Tennessee. What you're really showing for the world is holding up a mirror to a state that is going back to some dark roots.
Now, I'm going to go ahead and point out what I wanted to go ahead and make sure that you're aware of right here. Emily, I want you to take a good look at him, and I want you to listen to him. Does this sound like a man that's speaking from organic passion, okay? Does he sound like he's genuine, speaking from a place of organic conviction? Or does it sound like, okay, this has been rehearsed, this is a script? Because we're going to prove that all of this shit was fake with this so-called expulsion that all of them had. Oh, I got something to show you here tonight. But I want you to listen to him and watch his body language. See, fact of business, I'm going to give you something else to compare and contrast to. And those of you who are older will understand where I'm going with this. You know, right on this channel, I have shown you what on-code politicians look like back in the early days over here in America. Think about an Adam Clayton Powell Jr., okay? I want you to think about politicians like that and think about how they spoke before Congress and before the Senate or what have you. When they had an issue to address, it didn't seem rehearsed or sugar-coated like this clown right here. See, this is how you know it's manufactured. Then again, pay attention to his look. And yes, I got to point it out. He got a little fairy dust in his voice. I think both of them do, if you ask me, but that's neither here nor there. Just letting you know that I'm aware of that. I want you to pay attention to the rest of what he's saying, and then I'm going to come back with my commentary.
The state in which the Ku Klux Klan was founded is now attempting another power grab by silencing the two youngest black representatives and one of the only women, Democratic women in this body. That's what this is about. Let us be real today.
Now, you heard that clown, right? You heard him. You see this image right here of the other Justin, the double J's, okay? The double jokes, as I shall call them. He's sitting over there hugging on a white person, okay? See, this means the world to them bootlicks, to be hugged on and patted on the head and acknowledged by a white person. I want to show you one more thing here before we let this play, because, see, I told you, I'm going to expose these bastards for the frauds they are tonight. We're going to do it the right way. I want to show you something. I want you to listen to this and tell me if this is somebody that you take serious to represent our agenda in Black American society.
Oh, everything's gonna be all right. Be all right. Be all right. Be all right. Yes, yes. I got a feeling. Everything. Oh, we got that one.
See that bastard sitting up there with that damn that GoPro camera right in front of his face? A lot of you probably recognize him. That's the punk that we call Big Bird that was with that damn organization in Cobra, another bootlick shield organization, a Democratic shield organization. Notice the fix is in. Oh, but you hadn't seen nothing yet. Oh, we're going to show you all the Democratic shields over here tonight. And I'm going to tell you something right now before the end of this broadcast. I'm going to make some brand new enemies over here. I don't give two shits about that. This channel is about the truth. And I'm going to make sure you have the truth over here. Let's let it continue.
All right. Yes. I got a feeling everything's gonna be all right. Be all right. Be all right.
Yeah, your eyes are not playing tricks on you. You see who's sitting right behind one of the double jokes there. Tamika Cadillac Shabazz Mallory. Family, I don't give two shits who this offends. I have a lot of people that I'm cool with in many different circles, but I have to speak the truth when I see it. People have been silent about this long enough. When you see that woman right there, Democratic shield time. She has been bought and paid for by the Democratic Party. And at once upon a time, the sister was doing good work. I respect that. But see, I'm going to tell you something. When it comes to the future of my people, I don't give a damn about offending nobody. When you see her coming with all of her other off-coat antics, remember the whole clip? Oh, sexism is a bigger problem than racism. Since when? Since when do race soldiers roll up on people and kill them by their gender? Tamika Mallory. And she's sitting her ass right up here next to him. See, there's a certain caliber of woman that I respect amongst our people when it comes to leadership, and I'm going to name some names. Ida B. Wells, okay? You can even throw Harriet Tubman in there. Dr. Frances Cress Wilson, Fannie Lou Hamer, okay? Hell, I can even go outside of America, Winnie Mandela, because we're talking about the leadership quality, okay? Those women that I just named, there's many more that I keep going on and on and on naming, okay? You could even throw Aretha Franklin in there because a lot of you probably don't know this. She was not just an entertainer. Aretha Franklin funded a lot of grassroots movement. She actually funded things in Black Panthers, so on and so forth. And she wasn't the only one. The point that I'm making about women that are worthy of leadership and respect are the ones that are not bought, paid for, compromised, and they have intelligence enough to recognize when they're being used. See, at this point, I can't even say she's being used and doesn't know. Tamika Mallory is not a stupid woman. She's very intelligent. She's very intelligent. She should know better. She sold us out. When you see her, she's no different than Simone Sanders. Because, see, if she had any self-respect, she wouldn't be sitting up here with this maggot. She knows what we know on the grassroots. She sold out. I have to call it like it is, family. That's what I do over here. Let the chips fall where they may after I tell the truth. It is what it is. And so you saw that for yourself, right? Yeah, because see, I told you, we're going to put it all out here on Front Street tonight. And my first sergeant in the chat room, she put another sister in there, Shaka Khan as well. Oh, yes, I respect that sister's work. She was a member of the Black Panthers, okay? For those of you that don't know your history on that. But see, I wanted to show you that because, again, ask yourself in this chat room, are either one of these clowns, would you have confidence in them sending them to be our representatives on any damn thing that's germane to Black society? I'm talking about our lives on the line here. Let me make it personal for you. For my brothers in the chat room, whatever your profession is, if your job, whatever you do was on the line, would you be comfortable sending either one of these bastards to represent you? Let me ask the sisters a question. Say you're a business owner, you just started up, okay? Would you be comfortable sending either one of them to ask for more funding for your business? And would you be confident in them holding and sticking to their guns after you've told them what you want? Do you think they got the backbone, the competence, and the intelligence to go and represent our people the right way? When they sitting up here and you see this, oh yeah, I'm finna let this play. I told you, we finna hurt some feelings over here tonight.
To the sponsor, what's the current option for so this is the
See, all this hugging up with white women and all of this, oh, we not done yet. Because, see, I'm going to make these jokers look like the frauds and the jokes that they are. They're an insult to black skin, and they're an insult to our ancestry and our heritage. I want you to see this because you probably thought it couldn't get no worse. Oh, no, it gets worse. I want y'all to listen to this. And look, I can't tell if they're trying to be lawmakers, politicians, or if they're auditioning to be entertainers, because all I see is two big jokes. I'm going to show you.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I know that I do believe we shall overcome someday.
Oh, he had to get that hug in there from that little old wrinkled up Susan, didn't he? See, let me tell you something right now. You're sitting up there singing Negro spirituals. I'm going to tell you why I take such a grievous offense to that. When you look at what a Negro spiritual was, I'm going to take y'all back in history for a second here before we get on with this broadcast, because I want you to know why I'm highly offended when I see this cosplaying bullshit. A Negro spiritual was a way for our downtrodden ancestors to keep their strength and will to fight alive, okay? The purposes of those songs was not entertainment on any level. The purpose of that was you're enslaved. You're being brutalized day in, day out. They're working you damn near to death. You have to watch your wife, your women, your children, and for the vice versa, for the women, they have to watch their husband and their children be brutalized day in, day out. That was a way for our people to keep their spirits uplifted, to keep the will to fight within them, to connect them to the Most High and use the spiritual energy that we have in our people to keep us going. It is not something to be mocked. It is not something for white people's entertainment. I take that shit deadly serious. You go and mock the Jewish community with anything that their people experienced during the Holocaust and see if they take that lightly. It's not a joke. It's not a game. So when this little cosplaying bastard here, because that's the one that's half Filipino, when you come pulling that out because your white handlers told you this is how you get black people's attention, you don't speak for us. You don't speak for us at all. I want y'all to see the rest of this shit. And keep in mind when I told you, when you see a sea of white people just cheering and yay, you know you're back the wrong Negro. I just want you to see it. I'm playing this for a reason because, see, you think about any of the people that I've named here earlier tonight. Let me give you another one. Paul Robeson, okay? Think about him. Think about a lot of our leaders, man, that they've killed and assassinated, okay? Fred Hampton, all right? Think about anyone that you want to name. There's so many that we could name. Did they ever get this kind of reception from white people? See, that's how you know you're not putting in work for people, because when they that eager to accept you, I'm not saying that all of them would be like that. You will have a few here or there, because I already told you a true white ally is not trying to stand right next to you. But in this situation, it's a bit different. It's a crowded space. You wouldn't hear them cheering for him like that if they was going hard in the paint, pushing issues for black people like Adam Clayton Powell Jr. did, okay? I'm just throwing these names out here because I want you to think back to that time period, and you can look on this channel and get the history of it. If you don't know any of these names, you're a young black person, you're in the right place. This is a classroom. You can go down my channel and learn about any name that I speak on this channel. I want you to think and compare that and contrast that to the way they're being received right here. I want y'all to take a good look at this. We're going to burn this into your memory for a reason, because we about to get surgical with this history lesson in just a second. Yeah, see, I want y'all to catch that, right? Because it's going to make perfect sense with where we're about to go. And I'm showing you this picture again right here. I got to come back to Tamika Mallory. A lot has gone on since 2020, okay? Where have you seen this woman up front and center speaking about things that are germane to our issues? I'm talking about solely. I'm not talking about that intersectionality bullshit that stays coming out her mouth every 5 seconds when you see her. Where is she on the front lines pushing along with us specifically for these reparations? I ain't heard nothing from her, okay? But I have seen you palling around with your little Democrat buddies right here, like this clown that you sitting next to. See, let me tell you something. I want to say this to my sisters because I want y'all to really understand what I'm about to tell you. When I'm talking and I'm addressing issues like this, particularly towards our women, I'm not doing so because I think or have a low opinion of you. It is actually the opposite. I have a very high opinion of you because I know exactly how pivotal your role is as the other half of the community. We cannot have you out here gullible, being puppets and being mascots for these people. At a critical hour like this where we're trying to get things done, everybody needs to be on the same page. You need to be competent. You need to be intelligent. And I know she ain't gonna like me doing this, but I got to say it because it's right here in the broadcast. I've shown you a competent, intelligent sister in here earlier in this broadcast. Compare the mindset of a Teslin Figaro, I'm sorry, Tez, I got to do it, to a Tamika Mallory. See, let me tell you something, the difference between the two sisters. And I'm using this for a reason, so forgive me, Sister Teslin, but I have to do it. You're not going to buy Teslin Figaro, okay? That's one damn thing I can tell you, and I know for a fact. You can't buy that woman when it comes to getting her to sell out our people. She ain't going to do it. I promise you. Look, let me tell you something. This is how you know the real ones. Do you know it's hard to get that sister to let you support her if you're trying to directly look? Think about it. How many times you ever heard her say, "Here's my cash out, here's my PayPal, this, that, the third"? You don't ever hear that from Tez. You have to twist her arm, man, to make her accept something. And let me tell you right now, I'm saying this. I'm going on the record saying it. That's one person right there. If you was going to put your money behind something, she's worth supporting. That sister goes nationwide training people how to run for politics, no matter which side you want to run for, conservative or liberal. She helps you learn to become a community organizer. She gives you media training on how to speak and how to deal with the media. I mean, I'll be here all night long trying to name that sister's resume. When you see her, Tamika Mallory, it's all about her. It's all about me, my I. Sisters, I'm not putting you down. What I'm saying is when you sell out the community, you hurt generations. Don't be the sellout. Don't be the sellout. That's why I'm putting her back up here on this screen. But see, we're going to get further into this because I'm not done with this by sight. Oh, we got some lessons to teach over here tonight. I want y'all to listen to this report. And you know, I told you that all of this was manufactured and it was fake. Now, bear in mind the last 20 plus years. We're just going to use that. Bear in mind the last 20 plus years on the political scene dealing with black politicians. Think of anyone you want to name on either side of the aisle. If they want to get you out of there, you gone, right? You gone. That's the end of the story, right? Would everybody agree on that? Give me a thumbs up if you would agree with that statement. I want to see how much of the audience agrees. If it's a black politician, whether it's conservative or liberal, and them folks want you out of here, how many of you agree that they would just go ahead and get rid of you overnight? Wouldn't be no issues about it, right? No back and forth, no this, that, no nothing. You gone, right? Give me a thumbs up if you agree with that statement. Okay, I'm looking in the chat room because I'm about to prove a point here. Oh, I'm about to prove a point. Okay. I see my moderator, Patricia Jenkins. She giving thumbs up. Okay. Only Pamela's Way, Monique Wade. I see you. Okay. Okay. All right. So now that most of y'all seem to be in agreement. All right. Dunamis, I see you, good brother. Hope you're safe out there on that road. Iron Wheel, I see you. Captain PY2, what's going on? Now that I see most of you are in agreement, we have a general consensus over here. I'm going to play this news report for you. And I want you to listen to this, right? And then tell me if you think that everything that we seen with all these antics with the double jokes and double J's that we just seen, if you still think this is genuine or organic. Let's let this play.
Representative Jones. All right, audience, the members in the balcony, there's to be no disruptions from the balcony. That's the protocol here. I ask you to refrain, please. There's members on the floor asking you to refrain. Please refrain from disrupting the proceedings. Thank you. Representative Jones.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I want to welcome the people back to the people's house. I want to welcome democracy back to the people's house. That on last Thursday, members of this body tried to crucify democracy, but today we stand as a witness of a resurrection of a movement of a multiracial democracy that no unjust decision will stand. And that this represents the point that there comes a time where time itself is ready for a change, and that time has come back.
Pay attention to that pause that he just did right there, because see, if you're speaking organically, okay, and it's not from a script, you don't need to think about what you're saying next. You would just say it. Oh, yeah. I'm going to point out several things about this. Let's let them continue.
Here in Nashville, Tennessee, that truth crushed to the ground will rise again, that what you intend for evil can be used for good, to restore the heart of democracy in our state. And so I come here to stand with my constituents, with the people of Tennessee, to say that no unjust attack on democracy will happen unchallenged, that the abuse of this body will not happen in the comfort of silence. And so I come here, most importantly, though, not as an individual, but I come here to say that the people of District 52, 78,000 people, have a voice in this chamber once again. I'm hopeful for the days ahead for Tennessee, not because of the actions of this body, but because of the actions of the people out there and the thousands gathered outside this chamber right now who are calling for something better, who responded to your attacks on democracy with an attack of a mass movement for social justice and racial justice and economic justice to restore the heart of our state. And so I want to thank you all, not for what you did, but for awakening the people of this state, particularly the young people. Thank you for reminding us that the struggle for justice is fought and won in every generation. And so the people of Tennessee, I stand with you. We will continue to be your voice here, and no expulsion, no attempt to silence us will stop us, but it will only galvanize and strengthen our movement. And we continue to show up in the people's house. Power to the people.
All right. That's out of order. That's the second time. One more time, and unfortunately, I will not be able to determine who is yelling during the proceedings, so I would have to clear the whole thing out. So for the third time, please refrain from disrupting the proceedings. Thank you. Welcome and honoring Representative Love.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We have several members of our Metro Council who are here. We want them to stand also, and members will please make them feel welcome. They're up there on the right-hand side of the balcony. Thank you all for being here tonight.
Now, family, you saw that. Look how quickly he's been reinstated, right? They're going to reinstate both of them goofballs, but that's the Justin Jones clown, okay? Now, if they really cause so much of a disruption, If them white folks really had a problem with them like that, do you really think they were being reinstated that quickly? Either one of them, okay? Just think about what you're seeing here. See, you have to know when this political theater is being played out right in front of you. Think about all those fake sit-ins and arrests that Al Sharpton and the rest of them goofballs was having, but they didn't state anything that they wanted done tangible for black people. It was just performative cosplaying. Again, we must take that seriously. It is a grave offense, okay? So we're going to get into the history lesson portion of this tonight, okay? I'm going to show you something. Let me take this banner down for a minute because I want y'all to see this. Remember that jackass that was playing Justin Pearson? He was cosplaying in his Martin Luther King voice, right? I'm going to show you something here tonight because I have to show you what these infiltrators and agents that are groomed by the NSA and other organizations to infiltrate us look like. A lot of you have probably heard about this lady in recent times, thanks to Brother Philip Scott and others that brought this back to the forefront. I'm bringing it back to the forefront tonight because, see, when we speak of controlled opposition, you need to keep in mind two things. When you have controlled opposition on the one end that's speaking like Justin Jones and Justin Pearson, you see what that look like. That's the benign controlled opposition. This is the malevolent controlled opposition. I'm showing you what all of it looks like for a reason. I'm going to show you how they handpick these people because, see, what you're looking at on the screen, COINTELPRO FBI informant Julia Clarice Brown, okay? Well, you're going to hear. I'm going to let her speak, okay? Because y'all need to pay attention to this so we recognize it on both ends of the spectrum, all right? And both political parties will use this, by the way. I want y'all to listen to this, and then we're going to come back and point some things out.
There's one thing that bothers me, and that, as a Negro yourself, why do you talk so bitterly against Martin Luther King and a lot of these other people of your race?
Well, let me tell you something. I don't put my race before I do my country. Being a Negro woman doesn't matter to me who is a Negro or who is a white person. If they are enemies of our country, then they are certainly my enemies too. Well, I say it is frightening, and it should be frightened to the entire American people that he has demanded $10 billion. And if he doesn't get it, then there may be riots this summer. Martin Luther King is nothing but a blackmailer, and he should be arrested for blackmailing because he certainly has blackmailed the United States government.
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today, many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. And this is what we are faced with, and this is the reality. Now, when we come to Washington in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
Justin Jones and Justin Pearson, I need you talking like that if you're going to invoke the name of our ancestor, Dr. Martin Luther King. Let us hear them talking like that. How many of you think that they're going to cherry pick that part of what he was talking about before this man's life was taken from him by these damn white supremacists? See, these are the things we need to put in front of their faces because we've seen today that when you use social media as a tool when you're on code, it can get a lot of things done in conjunction with working on the ground, okay? So these are the things that you need to put in these people's faces that's trying to play us for clowns. Again, you don't give your vote to anybody. It's earned. with proof of concept policy and consistent action over and over. Not, okay, they did one or two things and now we loyal to them. No. We'll check in with you next vote and say, okay, well, you want my vote again? All right, I'm going to need this from you this time. See, we got to have blood in, blood out. It's got to be equivalent exchange. It's a business transaction. So the next thing I'm going to show you here tonight, we're sticking along identifying what controlled opposition looks like. I'm showing you another malevolent end of controlled opposition. I want you to keep this in mind with Justin Jones and Justin Pearson, because again, we've established they're the benevolent controlled opposition. I want to show you this malevolent controlled opposition. This is a low-life, despicable piece of shit known as Darthard Period. Now, as you know, I did a complete breakdown of this on my channel. You can find that here, but I'm showing it to you here tonight because I want you to listen to what he's about to say, because the young people need to understand how they groom these bastards that are traitors to our people and put them right back amongst us. This son of a bitch right here that I'm about to let you listen to, he did egregious harm and damage to black people in California, and he died like the fucking rat that he was. But I'm gonna let him talk, and I want you to listen to what he's being asked and how he answers it.
You also were active in the infiltration of many cultural groups. Before we go into that step by step, how much research and study did the FBI engage in of black culture in the late 60s?
A great amount.
Give me an idea.
From the thing is, I can. They have a file on every type of magazine that blacks read. They have a file on the music, dance, theater, actors, comedians, you name it, man.
And they would actually study these different...
Yes. Oh, yes, definitely.
What would they do with music?
To understand the people, you have to understand the culture.
Keep in mind what he just said now. Look at everything that I just showed you tonight with Justin Pearson and Justin Jones. See, you know when I thread a needle over here, I make sure that I tie the end tight so you can't pull it off. That's exactly what they have done. They have groomed them, sit there and taught them, okay, this is how you talk to people. This is how you say this. Hence the insult of the so-called Negro spiritual that they call themselves trying to sing. One, you can't sing one unless you have a soul that's attached to the pain of our people. Neither of those turncoats do. But I want y'all to listen to this part because, see, you better believe that they use these same tactics today.
To infiltrate, you have to understand. You had a lot of so-called white liberals that were infiltrating the so-called black groups using the information that they had gathered from the studies of blacks.
You mean just to understand the behavior pattern of our people?
Oh yeah, I can, Will Heaton could name out some jams of Miles Davis that I hadn't even heard of. He could name off some books that I hadn't even read pertaining to black culture.
Do you ever see agents actually studying the music of...
Yes. Yes, I've seen them going over even video portion of cultural events. The understanding, like when, you have an organization like Leroy Jones' Black House. You remember that? Okay, Leroy Jones's place, which was done on the thing of tribalism. That's where I first heard the word Kintu, Mantu, Huntu, Hintu. These words of the African continuum. I learned that from an agent. He ran it down to me. They make in-depth studies of the personalities of the people they're dealing with too. Culturally, it always helps when it's a thing of. You can take their culture and use it against them.
How large would you say an extensive collection on our culture would you say the FBI has? Would you rate it as large as a particular library, like the Schomburg Library in Harlem? Or...
I would rate it better. And the fact is that they go into details that we probably would overlook. Will Heaton used to meet me in different places. You know, Will Heaton, that was one of my supervising agents. There is a certain bar in the Los Angeles area where people into black cultural things met, and Will Heaton used to meet me there. And he would go into very long and tiring conversations with some very articulate brothers about culture, African culture, and Afro-American culture.
Tell me about some of the cultural organizations that you infiltrated and what you did.
PASLA, Mafunde, Watts Writers Workshop, which they had.
The Watts Writers Workshop?
Yes. Watts Writers Workshop, which was one of the oldest established black writers workshop.
That place was burned down.
Yeah. The Bureau had it burnt down.
How do you know that?
I know because I participated. I did the arson.
Now do you see why I despise this son of a bitch that's on this screen? Family, let me tell you something. These rats and traitors like this amongst us have blood on their hands. You heard it out of his own mouth. The reason I'm showing you this here tonight is because I want you to understand that there are other Darthard Perrys, and I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. I don't care who gets offended at it. I'm putting Justin Pearson and Justin Jones in the same category as this son of a bitch right here. I'm going to prove why I'm saying this later on here tonight, though. I want y'all to listen to this. See, these people right here have committed unforgivable errors against our people. When we put that label of a coon or a traitor on you, you're going to wear that for the rest of your days. And I will, as long as I'm living, I'm going to hold your faces and your memory up as a pariah to our people. Because, see, we have to make sure that this is unacceptable. We need political punishment for our traitors. And I'm going to tell you right now, there's going to come a day and a time where we're going to have to deal with that in other ways, too. We'll be stuck going in circles for the next 5,000 years if we don't get these people out from amongst us. Don't let nobody try to make you ashamed of dividing from something that's cancerous and detrimental to our people. Just like this piece of shit that you're looking at on this screen here.
You burned down the Watts Writers?
Yes.
Why did they want it to go?
At the time, funding had been cut to the workshop, had been cut out, but it looked like there was a possibility of a grant being given back to the workshop. And if there was no theater, there would be no grant.
How did you do it?
2 cans of kerosene, Purex bottle, gasoline, and a flare, highway flare.
Why didn't you use more sophisticated stuff?
Oh, no. No. You're never overly sophisticated. It's too obvious. This way you make it look like, you know, maybe somebody in the neighborhood that got kicked out of theater at one time got mad and came and burned the damn theater up, that kind of thing.
But you were involved in this theater? I mean, did it get to you at all what you were?
Hey, man, that got to me a great deal. I love that theater. I built the stage.
That's a lie. Because if it did mean anything to you beyond just you would have thought about all the little black children that meant something to at that time. This is a damn demon that you're looking at right here. And I'm showing it to you for a reason because, see, like I said, he has counterparts today. I'm going to show you exactly what they pay these people too. Oh, we're going to make that stick here because, see, like I said, somebody got to make sure that the history correlates to present day so that our young black people understand what they're up against in every facet of society. This is why you cannot take it lightly when you see people like a Tamika Mallory, oh yeah, I'm going to go there with it, that are so quick to sell out our people like that.
Built the stage.
Oh yeah. When I got to the workshop, the stage that had been, the original stage that had been built needed an extension on it. The original part of the stage was in terrible condition. They had no lighting system. I put the lighting system in myself. I put the stage in myself. And that was a stage, man. And that was a theater. It's a nice theater.
Who was the director of that workshop?
Harry Dolan.
Harry Dolan. Some very, very well-known artists supported that workshop, gave money to it.
Some very well-known artists came out of the Watts Writers Workshop. You know, Glenn Tubman, Yaphet Kotto, Sidney Poitier used to come down there and give a class. Sammy Davis Jr. used to come down there all the time. Quincy Jones used to come there and give music classes. We had our own 8-track studio setup for sound. We had our own sound room there.
Was part of your other activities and responsibilities to study the profiles of celebrities who were supportive of organizations?
Definitely, and especially, like I said, psychological backgrounds, weaknesses and strengths. Did he have a weakness for blondes? Did he have a weakness for money? Did he snort cocaine? Did he smoke marijuana? They even get into, and that's one thing the Bureau loves, is their sexual background. They have files and files on different blacks, not only celebrities, but a lot of others, sexual activity.
I want you to pay close attention to what the words that he just stated, because this is how they operate today across every facet of society. Family, let me make this clear, particularly to my young black people. If you're out here on the grassroots and you're doing community work, it reminds me of our good brother, Darren Seals, and it's hard for me to talk about things like this because Darren was a good brother, man. He was trying to do the right thing down there in Ferguson. You have to be very careful of who you associate with. I'm not going to get too biblical on you here tonight, but you better look at the scripture in Corinthians that says bad association spoils useful habits. You have to apply that to people that wear the uniform of our skin, because there's a bunch of Dr. Perry's running around amongst us. You heard what he said. They try to find out, okay, what's your weakness? Do you drink a lot? Do you like to get high a lot? Is it cocaine? Is it white women? Is it your sexuality? We see all these things on display today being weaponized against us. What I'm telling you is you better make sure that you understand who you're dealing with. And don't be afraid to cut people the fuck off if you start seeing them move like these rats. Because, see, here's the blessing about the horrible things that our people went through. We have things to study like this today so that we're going to get caught off guard. And you have to have people like myself and others in New Black Media that are not afraid to show you the truth, regardless of what they try to do to a channel. Because, see, I'm like this. Let me tell you something right now. Anything on any of my platforms, feel free to download it, use it, whatever. I don't care about that. I want the message to get out there. That's what's most important to me. I want the message to get out there because, see, we can't rely on the schools to do it. You see what they're doing. They're taking the truth out of the schools. You think they're going to teach little black children about this son of a bitch right here that we looking at on the screen? They're going to hide all of that. In fact, if they mention his name at all, they'll tell you that he was the opposite. They'll just mention the part about him being a part of the Watts Theater back then. They won't tell you he was the bastard that burned it to the ground. They won't tell you about him being an informant for the FBI. Do you understand right now why if you're a black parent, it is more imperative than ever that you teach your children who these traitors were amongst us and how to spot them moving amongst us today, especially if you got young black teenagers, young people that are in their 20s, their early 20s. Please teach them the truth about what our history is, because it's up to us to do that. It's up to us to do that. I want y'all to listen to the rest of what he's about to say.
What would they do with this information?
Oh, that's used as a weakness.
So they would feed these weaknesses?
Yes.
Did you see that happen?
Oh, yes. Doc Holliday, who is one of the leaders of the BGF, Black Guerrilla Family, which is a prison gang in the California state prison system. Upon his release from prison, a certain sister made herself known to him at a nightclub, whereupon he moved in with her, and she picked up names, telephone numbers, information, that kind of thing. That lasted for a good 3.5 months.
Was this an unusual thing, or did this happen often?
No, that happens all the time.
Did you yourself get involved in doing that?
Yes.
Give me an example.
There was a gentleman that was on trial in Los Angeles that belonged to the BLA that had been busted in a southern state for a bank robbery, but was brought with 2 other people to Los Angeles to stand trial for the machine gunning of a police officer in Los Angeles. I was supposed to worm my way into the affections of his sister, and whatever it took to get the information that I needed as far as what kind of defense they planned to use as to turn this information over to the federal prosecution.
Did you do it?
I got the information, and thank God I didn't have to go through with the actual thing of sexual activity.
What do you mean, thank God?
The sister was rather unappealing.
Mr. Hoover, will you have any comment at this time? So now you heard that, and I told you earlier at the beginning of the broadcast that what you were going to hear tonight was going to be offensive, but I'm offending you for a reason. Somebody has to tell the truth about this. Again, we're threading the needle, and we're going to show you how this controlled opposition works on both sides. So I'm going to give you this disclaimer before we let the rest of this play, because it's making me angry just even talking about it. I want you to brace yourself for what you're about to hear next. If you're a young black person, this may be your first time learning of this, okay? But I'm going to show you a small portion of this for a reason, and it's going to thread into everything that we talked about here tonight. And I'm going to encourage you to do more of your own research on the things that you learn here tonight, because everything that you see over here, you can go and look it up and verify it for yourself. I want y'all to pay close attention to what I'm about to show you here next.
But Malcolm's message was not lost on one audience and one man in particular.
So far as the rank and file of the colored population is concerned, maybe some of them do not like the FBI.
In J. Edgar Hoover's day, the FBI got a little crazy on the subject of black people. They had Elijah Muhammad under surveillance for at least 20, 25 years. They had Malcolm under surveillance for most of his public life. When I say surveillance, I'm talking about wiretaps, I'm talking about room bugs, I'm talking about infiltrators.
You were an undercover agent for the police. He didn't know then.
No, he didn't.
And you got in close, very close. He trusted you.
I would say yes, sir.
Gene Roberts got so close that he became Malcolm X's bodyguard, even though he was really an undercover cop in the New York City Police Department. Your job was to gather intelligence, to gather information.
Yes.
And the Bureau's mission was to keep tabs on potentially violent people?
Yes.
Why was Malcolm X considered a potentially violent, if not in fact violent person?
Well, I guess at that point in time, society wasn't ready for Malcolm X. He was saying a lot of things that society didn't want to hear at that point in time. The week before he was killed, there was a meeting at the Audubon. And I saw what I thought, and I still think, was a dress rehearsal for Malcolm's impending assassination. I called the department the following morning, and I told them that I felt that this was as I put it, a dry run. And they told me that, okay, we'll pass it on and we'd take care of it. What they did with it, I really don't know.
I did not have a gun, but I tell you, I wished I had a gun. Because when I walked into the Ottoman barroom and seen nobody on the door, seen no one there, I became very upset. And I went direct, as I walked to the back of the room, I asked, I said, what is this? And they said, this is his request. He told us not to put nobody on the door. I said, don't give me that. Don't give me that. I said, somebody in here is playing games.
And a commotion started. Two individuals near the front got up, and one of them hollered, "Get your hands out my pocket."
Malcolm said, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. And all of a sudden, that's when the bullets start ringing.
I saw three individuals from the front get up and just started firing at him. They came running down the middle aisle toward the exit. I turned and went back, and two of them passed me. And I met the third individual, and just as he turned to fire at me, I turned sideways and hit him with a chair, and I knocked him down. I saw him scramble up, run out the door. I chased him out the door, at which time, when I got out, there was a crowd of people outside. They had him, and they were beating him. I turned around and went back in, and as I got to the stage, he was still laying there, and everybody was standing around. So at that time, I started giving him mouth to mouth.
You killed him. That's what you did, you son of a bitch. Oh, boy, family. It's hard for me to show you these things because, see, the reason I'm doing it, I'm pointing it out to show you why we can't take coddling traitors and sambos and coons lightly. This man killed one of our greatest grandmaster teachers and icons. If it wouldn't have been for him, Malcolm would have lived much longer than this. This son of a bitch set our brother up. That's who killed Malcolm.
And he died right there on stage.
Party leaders Mark Clark and Fred Hampton were killed.
I'm going to show you something else. I told you, we going to cover the gamut over here dealing with these damn traitors tonight. And believe me, it's hard for me to even recount this kind of history, but I'm showing you why we can't play with them once again. Everybody remembers the young brother, Fred Hampton. I have a documentary on this channel about his son. It's called The Angola 3. You can check that out. But the reason why, when I think back in history about what happened to the young brother, Fred Hampton, he represented young black manhood in his prime, okay? He was a very bright young man, very courageous young man. And even if you look back in hindsight today and you don't agree with everything he was trying to do, the key word is the young man was trying. See, you need to understand that racism and white supremacy, its job is to cut down young black men and women that stand up and try to challenge this system and try to make a better way for people without relying on the system. You need to understand that when they assassinated the brother Fred Hampton, they wasn't just killing one man, they was trying to kill the spirit of our people. This is why I hold coons and traitors to such an egregious standard as high treason, and I don't think there should be any coming back from it. I want y'all to listen to this. And I want you to keep in mind everything that you saw here early in this broadcast tonight.
In the raid, 4 of the 7 surviving occupants of the apartment were wounded. All were charged with assault and attempted murder.
And I remember walking out of the office and
notice all these damn FBI informants that I'm showing you here, right? I want you to look at this piece of shit, William O'Neill, up here, because he's another one. I want y'all to listen to this bastard.
Looking through a little clearing over on the next block, which was right in front of the Monroe Street address, and seeing a lot of police cars over there. And at that time, Bobby Rush came to the office. He had just come from over there, or maybe the coroner's office. In any case, we walked back over there, and we both were speechless. We just walked through the house and saw what had taken place and where he died, and it was shocking. And then I just began to realize that the information that I supplied leading up to that moment had facilitated that raid. I knew that indirectly I had contributed, and I felt it, and I felt bad about it. And then I got mad, and then I had to conceal those feelings, which made it worse. I couldn't
I couldn't say anything. I just had to continue to play the role.
FBI headquarters authorized payment of a $300 bonus to informant William O'Neill for, quote, uniquely valuable services which he rendered over the past several months, unquote.
Good evening to you.
That bastard sold that brilliant, courageous young black man out for $300 fucking dollars. I'm gonna shock you when I tell you something. If you think that's much higher today for an FBI informant, you would be wrong. Say it again. If you think that would be high today for an FBI informant, you would be wrong. This is what they sell our people out for, peanuts. And these people stand right amongst us, pretending to be for what we're for, and then they'll go and burn theaters down. They will set people up for their lives to be taken. And they will deliberately and publicly undermine our people politically and economically. I'm showing you this here in this broadcast tonight because I want to impress upon you the importance of us setting a hard demarcation in the sand, black men and black women together on code when we see the Justin Pearsons and the Justin Jones coming with the cosplaying and the buffoonery, and we didn't select them. It must be a hard no, and we must make sure that they understand they don't speak for us. You don't get our support. The community will not look at you as if you're one of us because you belong to them. Enough is enough. We will not let them keep doing the same things to us over and over again. I want y'all to listen to this news report here. Bear with me. I know this has been upsetting. Believe me, it's hard for me to go through that type of history, but it's for a reason. I want y'all to listen to this.
I'm Christine Johnson.
And welcome, everyone. I'm Maurice Dubois. Those stories are straight ahead. But first, after all these years, the Reverend Al Sharpton admits he was an FBI informant.
Yes, he says that he was the cat that got the rats, but others say that Sharpton's secret life was not by choice. CBS 2 political reporter Marcia Kramer has the story.
Michelle Obama probably never knew that one of the guests at her recent White House 50th birthday party was an FBI mafia informant who helped bring down members of the Genovese crime family. Reverend Al Sharpton, now a confidant of both the First Lady and the President and of Mayor Bill de Blasio, has his own unique take on his days as the government's confidential informant number 7.
In my own mind, I was not an informant. I was cooperating with investigations.
The revelations threatened to embarrass Sharpton.
Do you see that? See, in the mind of a degenerate, psychopathic, lying piece of shit, they don't see themselves as rats. That's exactly the definition of an informant, Al Sharpton. I want y'all to listen to this bastard, because see, a lot of y'all, if you're young, you probably didn't know this information. Those of us who are Gen Xers, and some of you millennials who are well-studied, I know you know, but we have to make sure that even the young people that are not of age to be able to do things, we need to start giving them this history early. If they're old enough to go online and do research, they need to get the truth that the schools are not going to teach them. They're not going to tell you this in schools right quick. I'm telling you, they're going to take all of this out. They have taken most of it out. And if you try to question one of them on any of these people that they tell you supposed to be leaders, they're not going to tell you about this. Let's let Al keep talking here.
As it kicks off his National Action Network convention this week with de Blasio and President Obama, the headliners. But de Blasio, who calls Sharpton family, is sticking by his buddy.
Doesn't change the relationship one bit. I'm very proud to be his friend. I think he has done a lot of good for the city of New York and for this country. I have the exact same positive view of him I had before.
Sharpton has been dogged for years by reports that he was an FBI informant, helping the government go after boxing promoter Don King and music executives. Now we learn he also went after mobsters, including the legendary Vincent the Chin Gigante, the so-called Oddfather who paraded around in his bathrobe and pajamas. Though he has ducked and dodged questions about whether he wore a wire for the feds, that wasn't possible today since a batch of government documents were made public.
The conversations were recorded.
And there's also the issue of how he became an informant.
This is the part that I want you to pay close attention to, because see, they're telling you that, oh, he was just an informant. He helped take down the mafia and all of that. Yeah, okay. You have to be twice the fool it takes to be one if you think that's the only thing they deployed this bastard out here for. See, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you how they get these motherfuckers, and then they turn them and send them back into our community to harm our people. And I'm not talking about helping take down any criminals in the community. They set up innocent black people. Want you to see how they got him, and see, then you're going to understand, especially if you're a young black person over here listening to anybody in new black media spaces, myself or my brothers and comrades with larger platforms than I. This is why we keep hammering home the message of you must have integrity. Protect your reputation with your life. Because when you start going out here acting without integrity, you end up becoming this. I'm going to show you how they got his ass.
Some say he was pressured into it after he was caught in a drug sting. This HBO undercover sting video that aired in 2002 shows Sharpton with a cowboy hat pulled down over his bouffant hairdo. Sharpton appears to nod when an agent offers him a cut from future drug sales. But now Sharpton claims he went to the feds for protection from threats from mob-connected music executives and was asked to rat out the bad guys.
They were threatening to kill me.
And while the feds say his information helped bring down guys like Gigante, Sharpton says he didn't know how his information was being used.
I have never met any of these guys. The guy with the pajamas, I don't walk around with guys that walk outside pajamas. I never met these guys.
While Sharpton says,
I want to point out a lie that was told that the reporter was saying that Al said. See, a lot of times when people are not familiar with these things and you don't have a background dealing with any of this stuff, these terms just go right over your head. You can't really tell what the truth is and what it isn't. Let me tell you something. Anytime any government agency deploys an intelligence asset, a snitch, informant, whatever you want to call them, they have to tell you what you're going to do. He knew what his information was being used for. He's known anytime, okay? Don't you ever believe that lie. They have to know because they wouldn't know what questions to ask and they wouldn't know what role to play. Do you see how that doesn't make sense? How in the hell am I going to have you working as an informant for me and I don't tell you what the objective or the mission is? That's not how intelligence works. Trust me. I'm going to let the rest of this play, though, because we got a couple more things to get to here tonight.
he's not embarrassed by anything that he did. What he is embarrassed about, he says, is how, quote, fat he used to be now that he has reinvented himself as a skinny guy. By the way, sources say the mayor will cut the ribbon tomorrow at the start of Sharpton's 3-day National Action Network convention. Christina Maurice?
Well, he does definitely look different.
He does.
Yes, Marsha, thank you.
Fuck that fat bastard Al Sharpton. But family, got one more piece of history I want you to get ready to absorb here. And this one really hurts. This one really hurts because a lot of times you hear us talk about the baby boomer generation that sold us out, but you have to keep in mind that there were some riders amongst them. There were those that stood out and spent their entire lives trying to do the right thing. When it comes to these rats and despicable creatures amongst us, because I don't even deem them with the grace and honor of acknowledging their humanity since they sold our people out. I want you to listen to what our good brother, and this is, if you don't know who Hosea Williams was, you need to look his name up and his information. I want you to listen to what this brother had to say about what happened with the assassination of Brother Martin Luther King. I want y'all to take a listen to this.
We were discussing the Washington movement, Poor People Campaign in Washington. And that afternoon, we were in the meeting, and someone said, Reverend Billy Kyles is outside, and he's upset. And Dr. King said, oh, my God, I forgot to tell y'all. I promised his wife, who's supposed to be a great soul food cooker, we'd have our feet on her table at 5:30. Now it's 5:45, and we sit in the meeting. Dr. King said, everybody rush, rush, rush. And get ready in a hurry. Let's go. So I ran down and got to my room. My key wouldn't open my door for some strange reason. The limousine that had been loaned to us, I opened my door. I could touch the limousine. And finally I heard the driver tell Dr. King, Dr. King, I advise you get your top coat. Because even though I have the car on, it's still chilly. And the last words he said in this world, okay, Jonesy, I'll get my top coat. And I heard this thing say, bow! And I honestly thought someone had thrown a firecracker into the air. And I looked around to rebuke whoever was that stupid. And I heard something, bloop-a-loop, fell up above my head. And I looked up, and his leg was sticking through the rail. Dr. King only wore one type of sock and one type of shoe. And I knew that was him. I said, oh, my God, they got it. And then I had to run about 50 feet down and back up, and I got to him. And Ralph was holding his head, and Andy was there. And a guy from Africa who had been traveling with us as a newsman from Africa. We found out later on he was working for the CIA. No, the FBI, working for the FBI. And he had taken a lot of pictures of Dr. King. And I grabbed him in and threw that and started choking him because the bullet hit Dr. King right here. And it went round and cut his medulla oblongata. And I didn't want people to remember Dr. King with half his face shut off. So Andy ran and got a towel. And somehow or another they took one more picture after I made him empty that camera. And it shows Dr. King down with a towel on his face. But I'm going to tell you, I was an expert gunner in World War II. When I ran up on that balcony, and I looked from whence that bullet had to come, the distance of that bullet, and just could feel the wind blowing that day, I said, whomever shot that rifle was one of the best in the world. He shot one bullet. And I believe if Dr. King hadn't moved to go back and get his top coat, the bullet would have hit him between the eyes. The bullet hit him right here. But what happened, and then Ralph said, we'll go in and take him on to the hospital. Jose, you get all the staff together. 3 of us saw it, Dr. King, after he was shot. 3 SLC executive staff members. Andy, Abernathy, and Jose Williams. Those are the 3 that saw that body. Now listen to that. So I got in the yard, and I was about to lose my cool, because I was thinking if I could take some molecules out there and make me some guns and kill me some white folks. And one man said, now be cool. You're doing the same thing you promised me you'd never do. And I started crying, and then I heard Jesse Jackson say, he told me, Jesse, take our people on to the mountaintop. And that didn't bother me, even though I know Jesse got nowhere near him. And then Jesse said, I held his head in my hand while he died. And that didn't get to me. And then Jesse said, look at my shirt. And I looked around, sure enough, and Jesse Jackson's shirt was drenched in blood. And I realized the only way Jesse could have gotten that blood was stoop down on that floor at the Lorraine Motel and rake that blood off that floor and put that blood on him. And I went crazy. I really tried to kill Jesse. They grabbed us and all that, but that hurt me so bad. The other thing was, when Abernathy and those came back, says, no need of prayer, no need of cry, no need of nothing. He is gone. It's over with. He's gone to glory. And we called the meeting, the staff meeting, and Jesse claimed to have been ill. And Abernathy told him, Jesse, go ahead to the room and relax. Jesse had to have run like hell that room into that airport because he got out of Memphis to Chicago. All us feeling everybody was still in the motel. Cut the televisions on the next morning. That was Jesse Jackson in Chicago with that same bloody shirt on, telling that same lie. I've never respected Jesse since that moment. When they shot Dr. King, a black guy come running around that corner saying, he went that way, he went that way. James Earl Ray no more killed Dr. King, and I killed him. And everybody knew it. He was a patsy set up. And the guy said, went that way, went that way. And I said, who went that way? He said, that man ran out that building and dropped the rifle on the sidewalk and jumped in a white Mustang, had a red Alabama tag, and took off. Well, hell, I wasn't worried. That's no car in America look like a Mustang, but a Mustang, a white with red Alabama tag. Where's he going? The police have him like that. And I asked that rifle was left on that sidewalk. That was the rifle that James Earl Ray had purchased, but that was not the bullet that killed Dr. King.
So now you heard our esteemed elder and ancestor Hosea Williams explain how Jesse Jackson was another one of the rats that I'm going to throw right in there with every one of them that I showed you here tonight. See, family, it is not only in the honor of the memory of the Hosea Williams and all of the countless people, black men and women that fought for us to be where we are here today, that we carry on doing what we're doing, but we also must learn from their betrayals, okay? We must learn how these agencies have groomed these agents and planted them amongst us, and they come amongst us cosplaying, but they're never trying to produce anything tangible for our people. I showed you all of that here tonight in conjunction with the reports on Justin Jones and Justin Pearson, so that you understand that these people are our enemies. And we must look at them as exactly that, our enemies. We must make sure that they have no harbor and safe haven amongst us as far as coming amongst us and getting the trust of our people, okay? It was hard for me to show you this here tonight, but I had to do it in that order so that you see just some of the traitors and how they've been groomed. Each and every one of them, connection to the FBI, connection to the CIA, to the point that it's cost black people our lives. So when you hear us talking about these damn Sambos and Coons, we're not just calling them that because it's a cute name to call them. We're calling them that because that is the identified enemy. And you have to learn how to spot them by their speech, their mannerism, their actions, and look at who they're always trying to bring around. See, as we get ready to close here tonight, I'm going to tell you another thing that I want the family to start looking out for. This should be very easy, especially for young black people. You have to train them early, family. When we have agendas and we're talking about reparations, producing justice for our people, as far as punishing these race soldiers, and any facet that we're talking about getting something done on the black grassroots for our people, the man or the woman that comes amongst us wearing the uniform of our skin, trying to change the subject, there's your enemy and your traitor right there. I hope everybody was able to learn something from this here tonight. Salute to everybody that gathered in attendance over here. Use this broadcast to educate people. Take it upon yourself to teach young black people the history that they're not going to get in these schools, because, see, the work we're doing now, we're doing it with the goal of finishing it so that they don't have to keep following in our footsteps and keep on dealing with racism and white supremacy as far as any state that it's in now. If anything is passed down to them, it should be to pick up the pieces and sweep it on into the ash can of history. With that said, I'm going to close the broadcast. Salute to everybody that joined us in attendance here tonight. I'm going to be doing a broadcast pointing out another lesson sometime this week on this just Pearly thing situation. I know it seems like that's been said and done, but there has been some new information to come to my attention. I'm going to have to do what I do over here on this channel and bring it to my people as a person that's going to tell you the truth about these things would. So salute to everybody. Black first. I will see you all in future content.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Tariq Nasheed, and I'm inviting you to the Foundational Black American Expo going down May 27th, 2023, right here in the beautiful city of Dallas, Texas. This is an event you don't want to miss. It's going down at the Black Academy of Arts and Letters, and this is an empowerment event that you can invite the whole family to. We're going to have seminars and workshops that discuss things like business development, education, health and wellness, self-defense, and some of you businesses out there, we have vending opportunities where you can promote your businesses. Plus, we're going to have so many phenomenal speakers and guests. We got people like Dr. Boyce Watkins, who's coming down, Professor James Small, Sister Vicky Dillard, Riza Islam, Dr. Kaba Kamene, Ben X, Tahuti Mayad Ra, Erica Lachey, Red Pill, Blue Pill, so many people. So, yo, get your tickets now at FBAExpo.com. That's FBAExpo.com. We will see you here.